Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And jolly good morning to you. This is Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo, and of course broadcasting on TV1, part of course of the Capital Maharaja Group. And this morning to talk on the turmoil and the sort of controversy that is happening at that wonderful place called the Bar Association Sri Lanka is outspoken lawyer Mr. Hemanta Wanakulasuri. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Faraz. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, we've missed you, but then you've sort of been gallivanting on holiday, apparently. You've been trumping.
Yeah.
Did you have any trouble getting into the United States?
No, unfortunately, I went 2 days prior to the executive order.
I see.
So therefore, I had no problem at all. I entered.
And anyway, you're from a country that is predominantly non-Muslim.
I suppose so. Unfortunately, fortunately, Sri Lanka does not feature in that list of 7 or 8 countries banned.
But is there on the ground? When you moved about, was there anything visible?
No, what happens in Los Angeles and in California, where the people voted against Trump, they were very, very angry. I could see from the television, from the local television, they expressed there was no one who would come and openly support Trump. And after the executive order, there was serious debate on whether his suitability, his mental capacity, whether he's to be impeached. All those things were discussed openly, because when after the executive order was repealed by the lower court, he went and, like a Sri Lankan politician, castigated the judges. The judges have become a hindrance to all people who want to become petty dictators in a democracy.
Well, that's good that we saw that what's happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
So Sri Lanka is not alone. So our judges must take heed and not feel that they are isolated.
Yeah.
Their predicament is prevalent all over the world, including, of course, in the United States, where Mr. President Trump has been very outspoken in his comments. But then those judges there are not buckling, are they?
No, because the Constitution safeguards them. The people are behind the judges, and judiciary has a very eminent position in the country. Their orders are respected. When they first appeal to the court, first court. It's very, very strange. Attorney General of the Washington State came all the way to California and supported the order to repeal or ban or repeal the order made by Trump. Then there were there was a judge who was essentially a Republican judge, appointed by a Republican president, and he gave the stay order until it is repealed, until suspended, until final determination is decided. Then the Attorney General and other attorneys had not been appointed. State Department appealed on that order to a 3-judge higher forum, and there also one judge was a Republican.
Right.
They all agreed that the original order made by the court of first instance should be upheld. Then they were contemplating going to the Supreme Court, but he was advised not to go to the Supreme Court, and I believe now they are trying to amend the order, executive order,
so
present a fresh order.
So President Trump is soon very rapidly found out that being the holder of the job that is usually described as the most powerful job in the world is not so easy to accomplish if you are upsetting those other people just a few rungs below you.
I believe what is important, I can be very proud of the judges of the United States, they, without any fear or favor, decided what they thought was correct according to their conscience. They were not worried about the overwhelming majority Trump got. They were not worried about the millions who voted for Trump on the very same promise. You must understand, for us here, unlike other politicians, Trump said certain things and he was trying to implement it. I mean, so therefore the people could have said he got a mandate from the people to do all these things. Even if he had named those countries in certain rallies and said that they were exporters of terrorism, and he didn't want that. But then the judges had to interpret the law according to the supreme law, the Constitution, and Trump has sworn to protect the Constitution.
And of course, just a final bit on Trump. President Trump is an amazing chap because 25 years before this, in a televised interview, he did say that he's watching and he's fed up of various things that's going on in government. And the things he said 25 years ago is what he said during his campaign this time.
Absolutely.
On his first time. And it's amazing that President Trump has 25 years ago said the same thing, and 25 years later is elected mainly on those very promises where he says that America is second, and he didn't want that. He wanted America to be number one. And obviously he touched on a certain section of the U.S. population.
And before 25 years there was no ISIS, there was no Islamic, so-called Islamic terrorism, but still for all, he went to the people and said, and people voted. Now the question is, the beauty of the American democracy is, the judges had to interpret the law, interpret the Constitution, and the Constitution does not permit some of the executive orders that he has made. Because you must understand, America is only 250 or 300 years old and is full of immigrants. And everyone is an immigrant. So therefore, whether you are a Muslim or a Tamil or a Sri Lankan, they are all immigrants, and they have come and they have helped America to become number one powerhouse in the world.
Well, and talking about judges and so on in the United States, what's going on here in Sri Lanka? We see that the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, the election to elect a new president has been sort of postponed. What's going on? Why is there an issue every time we try and do something in this country?
I mean, here I believe again, what is important in the Bar Association is that we are also governed by Constitution. We do not repose power, absolute power of a dictator, the president or the executive committee. Even the executive committee is beholden has to answer the Bar Council. In this matter, what the judges are complaining is that the representations are made by the President Jeffrey Aragaratnam to the President of this country that the Bar is supporting the appointment of Mr. Kannan Ramanathan to the High Court. Now, this is, and then the President, when the application made by the Batticaloa Bar, requesting them to appoint two judges, because there was a problem in the Tamil-speaking judges, two judges, one of Mr. Ramanathan, one of Mr. Manaf, and both names were sent to the Bar Association. Bar Association decided to send to the Bar Association, and the President of the Bar Association, it is told by very important members of the Executive Committee, has written to the President of the country requesting him to appoint Mr. Kannan Ramanathan as the High Court Judge of the Eastern Province, so High Court Judge. Now, when this letter was sent to the President has immediately replied, or after some time replied, and declined to appoint him. Now, what is strange is that the letter of the Batiklo Bar Association. That is why the members are very unhappy. Letter of the Batiklo Bar Association, which was sent to the Bar Association, should have been opened by the Secretary of the Bar Association, should have been opened by and given to the other members of the Executive Committee, to the President. Nothing of that sort happened. No one knows whether the Batiklo Bar Association in fact wrote a letter to the Bar Association. Now that is missing from the files. Now it's
but do we know that they've actually written?
We do not know.
What do they say?
No, they have nothing in the file. But according to Mr. Aragaratnam, he has told the members of the Executive Committee that letter, he sent a covering letter with that letter to the President. Now, even if he sent the covering letter, that should have been discussed at the Executive Committee. We don't give power to the President to do any of these things without
the President of the Bar Association.
And then what is more important is we have never, as a professional body, never got involved in the appointment of judges as an association.
Right.
We have and there is no provision in the Constitution for us to support or for us to canvass or for us to send names of members of the Bar Association who wants to become judges of the High Court or any court. Now that doesn't come within the framework of the Constitution.
Yeah.
This has never happened. And then when it was declined, that was also sent, the letter declining the offer made by the Bar Association, saying that he, by the President's Secretariat, was sent to the Bar Association. This was said by the President himself at the National Law Conference. Now we were all aghast when the President said this. And then when someone inquired from the Secretary, they said, we don't have a letter like that. So even that letter, so then there was the question whether actually the Presidential Secretariat has overlooked or not sent or not followed instructions of the President and not sent that letter. Now we, at the Executive Committee, when this was questioned, I was told the young Assistant Secretary has very clearly stated on the 16th of January, this letter came, there is a minute that a letter has come from the President's Secretariat, but the letter is missing. Now this is very, very unfortunate. Two letters, one for the first letter from the Batiklo Bar Association is missing from the files. The second letter declining the offer is also missing from the files.
Do you think that this is a matter for us to bring in somebody like Ravi Vaidya Lankara or Pujit Jai Sundar to come and do a bit of basic police work?
Very unfortunate for us. I have been in the council for the last maybe 40 years or 40.
But this appears to be like underhand work.
Yeah, the first time this happened, I mean, everything is open. We discuss these matters.
How can members of the public have faith in people
absolutely
of your
not,
profession?
Absolutely not. So therefore, some members, I don't know how far this is, now the Magistrate Court Lawyers Association, yesterday or day before yesterday, passed a resolution condemning the action of their President, Jeffrey Ratnam. What is important is this whole question of appointment, whether he is suitable or not is not the question. The question is whether Jeffrey Ratnam took this matter to the President without being behind the back of the Executive Committee. Now there are, I was very interested to read, there were some lawyers who were people who were behind in opposing Mahinda Rajapaksa. They said the Bar Association, only the President has the power. President should be the sole person to make representation to the President of this country about judges. Now these very people were against Mahinda Rajapaksa for appointing judges on his own. They wanted the commission, they wanted the Constitutional Council to be appointed when Supreme Court judges are appointed, so that even the recommendation of the President can be vetted by the Constitutional Council, so that President does not have ultimate authority in appointing. But here, when the President of the Bar Association, who has nothing to do with the appointment of judges, who doesn't give, when the constitution does not give him any mandate, he goes and talks to the president, and then what happened, what's very interesting this for us, when the president declined, president stated, Mr. Aragaratnam and some others of the Bar Association came and met him and urged him to make this appointment. Now, when this was announced, very many people talked to the deputy president, to the others, the Bar Association, Amal Randhani, the secretary. No one knew about this. No one knew the president of the Bar Association has met the president of this country on this matter and urged him to make this appointment. So this is a very, very serious matter, because I believe it is a matter for the Bar Council and the Executive Committee. That is why people have lost, I believe, I have lost complete confidence in Mr. Aragaratnam and the President, because I was one, the history of the Bar Association is I must say, I'm aware of what happened when even such an eminent person like Mr. Lakshman Khandaregamar wanted to become the deputy president of the Bar Association. He felt that he can't win that election because there was this racism in the Bar Association. So when this shackle was broken and Mr. Aragaratnam came uncontested, I was happiest, because we felt that first time, after a very, very long time, the Bar Association
being inclusive.
That's precisely. And then appointed Jafar Aragaratnam. But then what he had reacted, what he had done here is, if this is true, if these are factually correct, if the president has said this, and if it's true, and if he had really if he had gone and met the president, urged him, this is what the judges are worried. Because I believe we have no role in the appointment of judges, and we should not have any role in the appointment of judges.
No, it's a very, very sort of upsetting situations here. But what does that mean to the, you can't have the elections for...
so the judges have decided. Because there is no explanation, because the secretary says we never got involved.
So what can be done?
I believe, I know what they will do. I believe there must be, we can amend the constitution, but I believe it is the duty of the President of the Bar Association come clean and say that he made a mistake, that he should have got involved. This is not his function as the President of the Bar Association. And speak to the judges and bring them to the same fold and have the elections on as soon as possible before the 31st of March.
Right. It's strange how these seemingly innocuous matters like electing the Bar Association of Sri Lanka can be so exciting and prevents people from falling asleep on their couches this morning. So what will happen? Will you have these elections?
No, we'll have to have elections. Otherwise,
But how can you do it without?
The Bars and Constitution sets out the manner in which the elections are being held. So the Solicitor General has very correctly said, if the judges do not cooperate, the judges do not act as returning officers, he cannot hold the elections. Now, the alternative to that is to amend the Constitution. But I believe far better for us to discuss with the judges and come to some agreement and have the judges to act as returning officers, which have been the last 45 years from the inception of the Bar Association, judges of this country.
So
they are original members of the Bar Association, and they have been returning officers. There have been no complaint, no election petition, nothing. Because
is this like a battle between the judges and the lawyers?
No, absolutely not. They absolutely no. But I believe judges are paid by the action of the president. For us, Sri Lankan judges, majority of them, 90% of them are very honorable people. They strive hard to deliver justice, and they work very hard. They have to write judgments in the night. People think that after 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock they go home and do nothing. No, they have to give judgments, they have to deliver orders, and they cannot they cannot have a normal life.
Right.
So when they join the judiciary, they expect, like any other government servant, they expect to become ultimately end up in the Supreme Court or in the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
But when outsiders, when the Bar Association interferes with that process of promotion, I mean, naturally, they are hurt. In fact, some judges, in fact, sometimes complain. We know some magnificent judges who were in the High Court could not be promoted to the Court of Appeal because some members of the Attorney Department were appointed. Now you can't help it. That provides the Constitution. But what role has we got? In fact, these lawyers who have been supporting this action have been saying that there was earlier instance of Mr. Paramaraja being appointed to the High Court from the unofficial bar. Now that's very interesting. In 2003, when the war was raging on, there were no judges. Judges were not refused. They politely declined to serve in stations like Eastern Province or the Northern
where the
High
conflict
Court.
was.
Where there was conflict was, and especially they must be Tamil-speaking judges.
Yes.
And the LTT were ruling rules. Judges were threatened, judges were shot at. Various things could happen. Then what happened? For 3 months, the High Court of the Eastern Province did not have a judge after the retirement of the incumbent judge, the sitting judge. Then what happened for us? The then Chief Justice, Sarathan Selva, had to, with this commission, had to go to Eastern Province, go to Jaffna, and the Jaffna, and then select one of the most responsible senior lawyers to be the High Court judge. I think his name is Mr. S. Paramaraja.
Right.
Then he was appointed by the JSC, and then immediately he was appointed. There was an article in the Tamil Net supporting his appointment. So he had no problem of carrying out his official duties, and he was fairly senior and a respected judge. He was transferred to the Eastern Province and he retired. Now that is the only instance. But here, I agree with some of the contention that there may be some difficulty about Tamil judges, especially serving in the North and East. There must special. Then the JSC, the agency department, the president, they must all get together and devise a method of appointing appointing judges from the private bar or from any other place where there is an applications are called, interviews are held, and that is selected, not on the basis of recommendation of one person, the president of the Bar Association, and he had no business to do that.
So this president Bar Association seems to be in some hot water.
Yeah, I know about that. Yeah,
but the point is this: we need a head at the Bar Association because we need the voice to lead us into various things. But frankly, when Mr. Upul Jayasuriya was the president, he was very much in the news and things were happening, or so it seemed.
Yeah.
But in this instance, we don't even hear about this.
Yeah, what happened was, I think we must also remember, after Desmond Fernando and Mr. Ramesh De Silva, and H.L. De Silva, H.W. John, they were very great presidents.
Yeah.
The next best president we had was the present Minister of Justice, Mr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. He is the person who summoned 3,000, 4,000 members to oppose the impeachment process.
Right.
And then thereafter, Mr. Upul Jayasuriya was elected. In fact, I take full responsibility in his election because he was frightened to contest the post of president. When I told him, when the government was trying to, when Mahinda Rajapaksa was trying to put forward a candidate, a good friend of mine, as their political stooge, I said, this cannot happen. We must proceed, we must go on from where Mr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa stopped and urged him. He said, I'll be shot. I said, during my time when I was the secretary, everybody said I'll be shot. But I was not shot by the JVP or by the TRA because I had held an important position. I urged him to become the president of the Bar Association. He became
and he did well.
And he did extremely well. And these are the two last great presidents. But I do not know what has happened after that.
Well, right. Well, so we hope that you're going to resolve that, as you're like a leading light in this in the legal sphere in this country. Now, I just want to cast your attention to a bit of good governance, which is always a good perspective. And Salon Today this morning, Dhammika Ranavira is writing in that. He says, Hashim puts the screws on Ravi. And this is to do with the compensation to a company that was supposed to lease aircraft to Sri Lankan Airlines. And the order was cancelled, and the cabinet, according to Minister Hashim, has approved a compensation figure of anything between $75 and $85 million. And imagine his consternation and his surprise when his colleague, and not the subject minister, Ravi Karunaka, the Minister of Finance, one of 3 ministers of finance, of course, puts forward a note to cabinet to pay the same company compensation of $154 million, which is almost double what the cabinet had approved previously. So Mr. Hashim is not very happy. He's not a happy bunny, but he's also, in effect, the Minister of Finance, because he's also got one of the part of that. So what's going on? Why is there all this consternation?
You know, now this is 154 million US dollars. I don't know how much that amounts in rupees. But this
substantial.
Is the pattern. This is the pattern. When we elect people, it is extremely difficult to find those politicians who will act in the best interest of the country.
Yeah.
Now, for us, before this, there was a news item. I think Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe agreed to permit MPs to import cars on some other basis where they could keep the car for 5 years or 10 years and return back. And it was approved. And then the subject minister was, I believe, the Minister of Communication, Mr. Ganta Kamarotibeka, and because he was the Parliamentary Affairs Secretary, and the money must be given by Mr. Ravi Karunaka. Up to now, not a single car has been imported. Why? There was a tussle between these two, I was told. So therefore, no point in now Mr. Hashim. I know his father, one of the most respected lawyers in Kolkata.
But it's 23 billion rupees
in Tagore, and then. I mean, so they just make statements, issues notices, and the press publishes it, but nothing happens. Nothing happens. And so this is the
what can we do to make things happen? What can the public do to make things happen?
I believe that is why I say strengthen the judiciary. Every single matter like this, like in America, you must be, like in India, you must be able to file papers in the Court of Appeal or in the High Court. When there was absolute robbery of our money done by the politicians. Now there is a matter in which there is no provision. We must be in a position to go before a court of law and state the facts and prevent this kind of robbery taking place.
Well, it's all very sad because if you calculate the losses or the extra spend, we'll have all the money that is required to run our country.
So now the cabinet comprises of many ministers, many good ministers, and the president. And the president surely can veto this, can say no, though he the Minister of Finance. So
in fact, the president of Sri Lanka, Mr. Maithripala Sirisena, has asked this matter to be put on temporarily on hold once this matter is sorted out. So I suppose now Ravi and Hashim will be together striking out a middle path. Is that what's going to happen? The middle part?
No, I cannot comment, but I must say that if you think of all the allegations that are made against the minister, whether there is any foundation or not.
Do you think, this is completely off the record but on air, do you think that if they agree to pay the higher amount, somebody somewhere might get paid?
I don't know.
Is that wrong for us to speculate?
No, there is absolutely nothing wrong in speculating, because obviously,
but the media
if you now today, I heard someone had gone and made a complaint against the minister, saying that during he was the minister of the Mahinda Rajapaksa government, I don't want to misstate names. I mean the evaluation was so many million rupees to give a certain project. He gave it to another company for more than if it's 8 million, 180 million. So I mean this. So now where is the investigation? So I mean the why people are opposed to FCID is, FCID must be a very, very independent institution.
But how can they be? There's number one and number two, both pulling each other.
That is the thing. So there must be a process in which investigation can be carried out by independent commission. There must be like a permanent commission of bribery corruption. There must be another permanent commission to deal with the present corruption that is taking place, because I don't think one commission can handle that.
That's true. Well, that's the end of the program this morning. Thank you very much, Hemantha Wanapulasuriya. That's it from us. We'll see you here, same time, same place, tomorrow morning. We're helping you to stay connected. On that note, take care, have a great day, and God bless.